Today we're going through 3 golden hour scenarios that you could find yourself in on a wedding day. Taylor Jackson.
Shooting 67 weddings last year.
Taylor Jackson, welcome.
So Taylor, you are well known in this community. You're an amazing photographer.
Before we get to today's video, just a reminder that Book More Weddings 2020 is out on Patreon starting yesterday. So there's gonna be 20 videos coming out total, Book More Weddings 2020. And the entire premise of it is 0 to full-time in 1 year. So if you are in your first year of wedding photography, this will be a super beneficial course for you. Also, if you sign up for Patreon, full money back guarantee, as well as you get instant access to about 100 other videos, all kinds of podcasts, all kinds of stuff, my presets, pricing, contract. There's a lot. Head over there for Book More Weddings 2020 to get it now for 30 bucks rather than spending $299 for it in January when it is released to the public. Basically, Patreon, I'm building it kind of as it goes. It's coming out every single day. In January, you'll be able to get it for $299, but you'll also get it kind of all instantly. So take the benefit of saving $269 and get it now. That's all. On to today's video and begin episode. Welcome to the studio. It's very cold outside, but it's very hot in here because our upstairs neighbor controls the heat, and I guess if he cranks the heat here, he gets heated floors upstairs. So I don't know. It's creative. I can't be mad. We just opened some windows. It's all that water heat and radiant heat. Let's get into some talking about golden hour. So golden hour is my favorite time of the wedding day, 100%, always, usually, for actual photos. Blue hour is also very interesting, and what blue hour and golden hour are. Actually, if there's one tip that I can kind of start this video with, I'll find it right now. It's an app called Alpenglow, which is A-L-P-E-N Glow. And what it does is it finds your location and it tells you when blue hour and golden hour are, sunrise, sunset, gives you all the information, kind of the basics that you need on a wedding day. So at least you don't have to be guessing and be like, I feel like it might be an hour before sunset today. As you can see today, golden hour is from 4:03 p.m. to 5:08 p.m. and sunset is at 4:49. So golden hour actually goes past into sunset, into blue hour, and then blue hour begins. It's a little bit shorter, it's a smaller window, and I would say blue hour is my favorite window to capture if I'm doing anything in a cityscape. So if I'm with a couple and I'm out in a big city, that is a time that I kind of want to be out there. I'm not too interested in golden hour because if you're in a place with big buildings, usually golden hour is actually not really existent because the sun is setting and you're in shade by the buildings and you might get some glow, but the time to be out, I think, for that is blue hour. If I am in my usual wedding area, which is like a golf course or somewhere with outside space, golden hour is a time that I go to pretty much get everything that I need. I think that couples like the shots from golden hour a lot more than blue hour, and well, as a photographer, I find blue hour a little bit more interesting. I think overall the look and feel that most couples are after is that golden hour, kind of that soft wraparound light feel. So my go-to, you'll actually see a few different lenses in this video, but my go-to is usually the 70-200. This is an f2.8, this is a Nikon 70-200 2.8 FL, which in my opinion is potentially the best lens for wedding photography. I spoke yesterday in the settings video about the fact that the 24-70 for the Z series is probably my favorite, 24-70 in that range, but the 70-200 is my favorite for golden hour portraits, simply because it gives you a lot of variation. Golden hour usually happens at a somewhat inconvenient time. So in the very first meeting, I'm always coaching my couples to be like, hey, I'm gonna pull you out for 10 minutes to do some sunset photos like at the exact perfect time. And so they know that going in. So if I'm never gonna like completely disrupt their dinner, but I'm gonna pull them out like as soon as they put their fork and knife down, they're like, they kind of look around the room. That is when I'm like on them and I'm gonna take them out and we're gonna do photos for 10 minutes. I try to keep the golden hour session as short as possible, even though I am getting kind of the highest yield per minute spent out there of the entire wedding day usually. It's also not something that happens every single time, so you kind of have to play with whatever nature is giving you on the wedding day. That if it's giving you clouds, you might go out a little bit earlier. If it's giving you beautiful sunset, you might go out a little bit later. If it's giving you potentially like rain or something, you can also, another app that I use, you can use Dark Sky if you're in the States. I use AccuWeather in Canada, and it's pretty good, and it will give you a pretty close to a minute by minute forecast. So it will tell you if it's gonna rain in like 20 minutes from now. This video is now just all about weather apps, I guess. It'll tell you roughly, and I find it to be pretty accurate. It's not the most accurate thing in the world. Sometimes it'll lie to you, but for the most part, it's based on your exact like pinpoint location, and not that if I'm searching for what's the weather in Toronto, Toronto's a big space. What I'm searching for on that is like kind of the more exact location, looking for when weather is going to potentially interrupt anything that I'm doing. So I keep an eye on that to make sure that I don't get busted. One of the gambling things I guess that I partake in, and I think a lot of other photographers take part in it as well, is that you might be getting like beautiful sunset light, but it just keeps getting better, and you have to kind of find that exact spot to bring them out, and it's really, really challenging, and it never really works out exactly as you want. It does sometimes. I would say 1 in like 20 weddings, it actually works out exactly right, but otherwise you kind of have to deal with whatever you're given. So I like the 7200 when I'm out there because I get a lot of different variations at 200, at 70, all kinds of different stuff, as well as if we're doing hybrid coverage, so that I can shoot great video with this as well. And I'm able to get a lot of content very, very quickly with this lens. You usually see me on my 85mm lens, and that is where I'm probably the most comfortable overall, but for golden hour portraits, I find that I'm just kind of running around a little bit too much to make too much happen within that time frame. That is from my perspective as somebody that wants to deliver a lot of different variations of frames. If you are in the space that you want to set up that one perfect shot and nail that perfect shot, that is totally like, you're welcome to do that. I'm not the definitive authority on wedding photography, that you can kind of do whatever you enjoy looking at, I feel like is kind of what you should go out there and you should be creating. So if you like those images that you've set up with a light and that are perfectly lit and perfectly framed with the dress like up, go shoot that. But I personally find that I can shoot a lot of really great images, and I would prefer to get 10, 15 really nice images rather than that one like absolute perfect image, just in case the couple, I kind of hedge against the couple's expectations that if they just don't like that single or those 2 photos that I take, I would rather deliver them a lot more. So that's my personal perspective and kind of my outlook on this. So that's enough of me. Let's get to some on-camera wedding days, golden hour, so you can see settings and whatnot. Looks pretty okay out here. So there are some options for photos. So I could have the couple out here, and as long as they are kind of even 3 feet in there, I can kind of frame it off so that it looks like they're just out in the middle of a field. But I think the actual good shot is over here where there's tracks and kind of human-made pathways out into the forest there. I think that is going to be the shot. Good leading lines, exit lines, lines all around. Let's go take some golden hour sunset photos. Maybe together on one of the, whatever one you decide. Okay. And I'm gonna say you can hold your dress as you go out there, and I might get you to put it down. I'm not gonna make you like do anything. But if you just wanna go out there a little ways.
Yep. Tell me when to stop walking.
All right. To build a bit of a diagram here, what I'm doing is, here's the roadway. This is kind of an overhead view, so there's some kind of foliage in the center here. And I have the sun kind of off to this direction here, so the sunlight is coming in from this direction. It does get a little bit cloudy, and I want the couple to kind of walk down this way, and they're getting kind of lit from the 3/4 side, so this is where the people will be. I'm the best artist in the world. If I ever quit wedding photography, I'm going to become an animator. That's not true. So I'm going to be standing right about here and aiming my camera in this direction here. So what I'm looking for is, I don't want to be shooting them from like this angle right here that would be directly kind of into the sun, because I'm just going to get a lot of flare and it's going to be a little bit wild. What I want is kind of for that a little bit of flare to kind of creep in the side of the frame so you can see that it's nice and golden, but also not just have the sun just blasting at them. The other situation you could do is you could completely go over here and you can make them silhouettes, but I want to involve some of kind of like all the stuff that's all over here because it's very, very nice and colorful. The other downside is that we kind of lose the light or the direct sunlight, but it's still nice and golden because it is that time of day. So that is my art for the day. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, put both arms around each other if you kind of can. It's good. So today is a day that I gambled on the sun and I just lost it at the last minute. But because of that, I can now shoot directly into the sun because it is a lot more obstructed by a little bit of cloud. It's just boring, like arm around each other, smile, look towards me here. All right. That's perfect. Always get this shot. It's the most important shot of the wedding day. Always get it. That's all. Yeah, if you guys want to walk up this way, and just walk really slow because I know that. Want to hear a joke? No? All right. For time reference, this entire shoot happened within 4 minutes and 22 seconds, according to my camera timestamps. Now I'm in a tree. And if you guys want to face into each other completely and put both arms around each other one last time. That is all for this shoot. On to, let's go to Santorini next. I don't practice Santorini. I ain't got no crystal ball. But we're here. We're golden hour. Our other arm, or both arms kind of around each other. Just so you're a little more, that's perfect. And you can get your heads a little closer together too if you want. I'm gonna walk down the stairs here. That's perfect, the way you kind of put your hand up like that. Starting in the shade, still really getting that nice warm tone. Yeah, just like you've been walking around. All right, now we're gonna head into some more direct sun style scenarios. And that looks really good. And if you want to kind of cuddle close together, and even if you can want to look down, like kind of how you just did there.
How I did?
Yeah, both of you guys like that. That's perfect. That looks really, really great. It's super important to test your lenses out for direct sun in this style before you actually get in front of a couple. So test it out before. Amazing. Hazy sunsets are always kind of the best for photos, which is why photos from LA always look so good. Just like that. Sorry if you're... All right, now we're going to move into morning golden hour in Paris. The positive was shooting in the morning if you have no real official timeline. Wedding day, you definitely have a timeline. If you're out for a shoot with a couple like this and they're willing to get up in the morning, start in blue hour because the light only gets better and then you can kind of hide in the shade while it starts to become a little bit too intense. But it's much better than kind of racing against the sunset. Also, you're not supposed to stand up here, so please don't tell anyone. Is it possible to put an arm around each other while you walk to be a little bit closer? That's good. And if you want to pause right about there. All right, and now moving back into a little bit more actual sun. I do my best really to not overpower my scene too often with direct sun and with really just kind of like showcasing the flare and the crazy, insane warmth that it could possibly be. I would rather do things a little bit more subdued and a little, that's, I would say, as extreme as I would get. But again, please test your lenses before you go out and you shoot directly into the sun because they will give you different results and sometimes it'll be a little bit more challenging to focus and sometimes it'll make the entire frame soft. With these Nikon lenses, I'm super happy with them. I know they can handle anything. But golden hour really isn't just about pointing the sun down the barrel of your lens. It's a little bit more about kind of the feeling overall that it gives every situation. So always shoot in golden hour when possible, obviously. And hopefully this video was helpful and gave you some insight to what I do on a day-to-day basis. All right, that's all. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget, sign up for Patreon if you are not yet a member to get Book More Weddings 2020 for $269 less than it's going to be when it comes out in January. So sign up now, even just for the month, full money back guarantee. Send me an email. Here's my email if you need to get that money back guarantee. I would suspect, though, there is more than enough content on Patreon right now that it's going to make your $30 probably the best investment in education in the entire year, even though it is now the end of the year. So see you over there.